Greetings everybody, we are in Porto at the Critical Manufacturing MES of Industry 4.0 and we're here with Adélio Fernandes, the VP of Engineering and co-founder of Critical. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate the invite here, and now you've helped architect the MES platform from the ground up. What core principles have guided its evolution to support today's dynamic, AI-driven type of factories?
Okay, when you actually start such a product, you need to actually have a solid architecture. And within that architecture, you need to think about scalability, high availability since the very beginning, but also the flexibility, because you are targeting different segments. You know that each customer will have his own challenges, his own specificities, and it is very important that the system is flexible enough to cope with all those changes and all different scenarios that we'll find.
Got it. So over the last couple of days, we heard abundance of time saying flexible architecture when you set up. So thank you for that. Now, as MES moves closer to the edge and integrates with more complex IoT stacks, industrial IoT stacks, what are the biggest architecture challenges you're solving for?
Okay, so typically we also have to start addressing this from the product and from the product architecture since the very beginning. So we do have a solution for equipment integration, and this is deeply integrated with the MES, which is called Connect IoT, and we start actually from the edge part. So the solution itself needs to be deployable in edge, so can be also deployed in kind of IT, in the cluster, maybe even in the cloud. Typically it's not so common, as you kind of very specific scenarios about speed that you need to acknowledge or respond to a machine, especially in interlocking scenarios. So you have to think that all the architecture of the application need to cope with all these deployment scenarios, but also the configuration scenarios as well. And all the things that you can do, typically on maybe a data lake, when you are actually make sense of data and try to act in the system, we actually need to design and bring this functionality into the edge so that you are able to run it in the edge, capture already and act as soon as possible in the process.
Thank you for those insights. Now let's double click a little bit. How do you ensure the platform stay flexible enough for different industries that you reference, from semiconductor to medical devices, without becoming an overly complex product?
Okay, so when we start, we actually start from flexible part, okay? So being able to cope with multiple scenarios, even the ones that we have not thought about in the beginning, was there from day one. What we have come to realize is the following: we actually need to specify in different markets, okay? So what we have and what we are having as a solution is actually target the different markets, what we call templates, okay? Templates are functionality that you add on top of the MES, very specific and targeting that specific segment. So we are operating in semiconductor, SMT electronics, medical devices, industrial equipment, all of them different requirements, and everything that is specific. So the exercise that we do is the following. We come across a new requirement. We think, okay, does this apply to everyone in general, or this is specific for this segment? If it is general, we will actually make it and productize it in our solutions, our products. If it is specific for the market, we'll then target the segment from where the requirement is coming.
Thank you, Adélio. Now, looking ahead, what emerging technologies do you believe will most significantly reshape how MES is engineered over the next 3-5 years?
I mean, I can only think about one, and it's big enough already, it's AI. So AI will disrupt everything, so you need to be prepared for it. You actually need to know the technology, and this is very difficult because everything is changing every day, so new things are just popping up. So you need to adapt and react very quickly, but this will completely change the way that we actually see the MES today and how the MES will look like tomorrow. And tomorrow can be just a month, could be 1 year or 2 years.
As you see, things are changing extremely fast.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the insights and appreciate the invite here in Porto. And if you're in the audience, have questions for Adélio, feel free to leverage the hashtag you see on the screen.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for having us.